Hello everyone, good morning. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel to receive more notifications and various ideas that will help you enhance your history to an A level grade, So today we are going to look at some of the factors. Last time we looked at some of the characteristics or the ways African nationalism portrayed itself. Today we are going to look at some of the factors for the rise of African nationalism. What led to the rise of African nationalism in Africa, and why did nationalists start fighting for independence vigorously? So the factors that led to the rise of African nationalism were internal, some were external, some were political, economic, social. So all these socio-economic, political, external and internal factors led to the rise of African nationalism. So we are going to look at one of the first factors per se. The earliest factor, we can look at the earliest factor. You can categorize them in form of the earliest factor. For example, the earliest factor was the colonial policies. Because nationalism rose at the advent of colonialism. The moment colonialism ushered in Africa, nationalism rose. So I'm going to start with the factor one, the Italo-Ethiopian crisis of 1935. We all know that the Italo-Ethiopian crisis happened in October 1935, when about 120,000 Italian troops crossed Somaliland and attacked Ethiopia. So remember, Italy had been defeated earlier by the famous Emperor Menelik II of Ethiopia at the Battle of Adowa. So when Benito Mussolini came to power as the new leader of Italy, he wanted to mainly avenge and then wipe out the Adowa scar. When they were defeated in Adowa, the whole world laughed at Italy. How could a third world country, Ethiopia, defeat Italy, one of the greatest countries at the time? So Italy was defeated hands down at the Great Battle of Adowa. So when Haile Selassie was the new leader or emperor of Ethiopia, Benito Mussolini thought it easy to attack Ethiopia. He had done research as early as 1920. He had sent General de Bon to do spying network. So General de Bon has submitted a report that the Ethiopian army was a little bit weak and shaky. So Benito Mussolini used it as an advantage to attack Ethiopia. The second factor, per se, the influence of the World War II. In 1939 to 1945, the World War II was a war that was fought between mainly the superpowers, okay? When Germany attacked Poland and Poland was a territory of Britain, there was a lot of saga, somewhere there. So during the war, how did Africans participate? Africans were taken on behalf of their colonial masters. Some went as cooks, porters, and others went for adventure. But the influence of the war, the Africans learned how to use modern weaponry. They made sympathizers, listened to news bulletins. The white man's image was also demystified during the war. Remember, the colonialists had created a way, or had created a synonym, that for them they were a little bit next to God. They were a God-chosen race. They did not die. So this inferiority complex had made the African nationalists fail to go hands on hand with the Europeans. But during the Second World War, this image was demystified. So when it was demystified, the Africans, on returning home, the ex-servicemen, led some of these nationalistic movements. For example, General China led the Mau Mau. He was an ex-serviceman. The ex-servicemen in Ghana did a very good job in fighting the colonial rule, or the colonial scourge. Jean Bodel Boukasier of the Central African Republic, Ahmed Ben Bella, all these are good examples of people that fought the Second World War, and when they returned to their homes, they really did much to fight for independence. Another one was the exploitative and oppressive colonial policies. We all know colonialism is associated with violation of human rights. So when the colonialists came to Africa, in order to stay as leaders of Africa, or in order to colonize Africa, they started implementing policies. Some of these were forced labor. The Africans were forced to give free labor to the colonial plantations, mining, road constructions. They worked without pay. They were harshly monitored. The land of Africans was grabbed, okay? And failure to do all these things to the will of the colonialists used to lead to public flogging, imprisonment. For example, in Kenya, Algeria, Zimbabwe, and Angola. So this influx of the white man also in such countries led to the rise of African nationalism because Africans were discontented. Another one is the Western formal education introduced by the colonial masters. You know, the colonial masters wanted to train Africans to serve them. But in the same education, Africans were awakened. Ideas of freedom, liberty, democracy were given to these Africans. So Western education created a sizable number of elites, lawyers, doctors, teachers, and businessmen. Oliver Tambo, Kamwe Nkrumah, Dr. J.S.B. Dankwash of Ghana formed the UGCC. He was an elite. Obafemi Awolowo formed the Action Party of Nigeria. Modlane Chibambo formed the Frelimo in Mozambique. Amilcar Cabral formed the PAIGIC of the Guinea-Bissau. All this led to independence of their countries. Because they learned foreign languages, they started demanding for independence. Another one is the emergence of independent churches. You know, these churches, white churches, preached against African tradition and culture. They preached against worshipping of spirits. They preached against polygamy, which was common in Africa. So the missionaries represented their colonial countries and discriminated Africans. So the African clergy decided to create their own churches, splitting away from the white churches to promote African tradition and interests. These included the Church and the People of God in Kenya, Bishop Desmond Tutu of South Africa, Bishop Abel Muzolera of Malawi, Joseph Mwangai of Malawi. All broke away from these churches of the white man. The Watchtower in Malawi. Okay, all these churches broke away and started promoting African interests. Another one is establishment of political parties in Africa. After the Second World War, Africans saw the need of political parties to fight for independence. These political parties united and politicized the masses for the need for independence. In French West Africa, for example, the Movement du Congo was formed, okay, in 1946. In Uganda, the Uganda National Congress. The National Council of Nigeria and Cameroon of Nandi Azikiwe, Ahmed Bello, the Action Party. All these parties worked hand in hand. Kamwe Nkrumah, the CPP, okay, Dr. J.S.B. Dankwash, the UGCC. All these parties worked and taught the masses the need of self-rule. Another one is the development of mass media in Africa. When mass media developed in Africa in form of newspapers, magazines, all these aired anti-colonial sentiments because the Africans had got a sizable number of elites that would publish these things, that would use these things, that would expose the colonial misdeeds through these political avenues or through the mass media. For example, the Western Pilot was created in Nigeria. The Accra Evening News was created in Ghana. Bwakede Mpulila in Uganda, Mukowozeo and Muno in Uganda. In Egypt, NASA formed Radio Cairo that used to air out anti-colonial propaganda in the Swahili evening programs. For example, the people of Algeria used these programs on Radio Cairo and the Mau Mau in Kenya to launch or to sensitize the masses of the need of colonialism and expose the colonial evils. Another one maybe we can say is the Atlantic Charter of 1941. Remember, during the Second World War, the American President Delano Franklin Roosevelt and the Prime Minister of Britain Winston Churchill, Sir Winston Churchill, aboard a warship signed a famous document known as the Atlantic Charter.